Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to Hold the Ball HTB. Hope you guys are well. Thanks for watching. Look, as before I actually talk about this, I'm just about to see Brooks kick the penalty kick. There we go. Now it's 2-2. West Tigers and Titans 2-all heading into the break. Whoever predicted that? Anyway, back to this. So it is another one of those 2-for-1 videos where I sort of spoil you guys, my fans, and I talk about some topics relevant to the Warriors. But before I get into it, hit that intro. Alright guys, hope all is well. Thanks again for tuning in. I appreciate it very, very much. Look, I want to talk about two key big points I think that are relevant to the Warriors. First one being Matt Lodge and the 3 to 4 year deal worth $2.1 million, which he rejected, reportedly. And the second part where Cameron George goes on News Talk ZB and talks about how the Warriors should actually, play all their games in New Zealand. And I'll give you guys my points on both of them. So without further adu, let's get into it. So Matt Lodge reportedly has rejected the Warriors' offer of 3 to 4 years, basically worth $2.1 million it was reportedly, and he's rejected it, right? And again, reportedly. But look, my thoughts on it first and foremost. Regarding the Warriors and obviously player retention, particularly when you talk about the Warriors heading into New Zealand, I think we always knew this was going to be the case. Similar as well as Euan Aitken in his announcement last week that he does not want to play, for New Zealand next year, heading into New Zealand. Now, with the Warriors, as they build and try to head back to New Zealand, which will happen slowly but surely, particularly heading into next year, I am probably not going to be surprised that there are going to be players that don't want to do it, particularly Australian players. You can't fault them. The reality is New Zealand is not their home, right? And unless you feel like you really want to move there, for example, Curran and maybe even like Murchie or Walsh, it's probably not for you. And so for those players there like Lodge and Aitken, I guess this can be spoken to both of them really. Look, there's not much you can say there, right? No matter how you try to entice it, no matter how you try to sugarcoat it or sweeten the deal, it is what it is, right? The way I sort of look at it too is someone like Lodge, though I see him as an impactful player. I also at the same time am not really, I'm not too upset if he says no. Granted, we do need that forward pack, but at the same time, again, what do you do? What do you do when players don't want to go to New Zealand, right? This was always going to be the case with New Zealand. When we stayed in Australia for the New Zealand Warriors, when we stayed in Australia for that bit as we have now, and then heading back, I almost feel like the Warriors in New Zealand should be like its own little section, right, of New Zealand history. Like you have the Warriors, and you have the Warriors in Australia, and then you carry on the Warriors, right? Like that's how I feel like it should have its own little era. That's my thoughts on it anyway. Now again, like I said, with Lodge going, it does, there's also this other stuff as well. Us fans can sort of dream, right? Because you've got Euan Aitken going, you've got again reportedly Matt Lodge going. Guess what? Cap space, right? Money, players, players looking for different clubs and all that stuff, right? Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Potentially. But yeah, like I said, the negative is we lose a good player, I think anyway, in Lodge. He's a good, solid, hard, strong player, which we need. But at the same time, with him going, though it sucks, and the same goes for Euan Aitken, hey, there's another window of opportunity that opens, right? Different players that can come. So again, the Warriors merry-go-round goes round and round. And ultimately, I suppose, hey, if things go well, who knows? But in saying that, I'll leave that for next season. But yeah, give me your thoughts. All right, so I was also listening to this one as well. Cameron George went on News Talk ZB, and he basically talked to them and spoke to them about why he believes that New Zealand Warriors should be playing all their games in New Zealand. Now, granted, I'm not sure where you sort of sit with that. Are you for it? Are you against it? For me personally, I'm for it. I can see where people may think it might be a bad thing, right? Especially if you think about, the finances. But hey, I don't really care. If you think about what the Warriors have done in the context of the game of NRL, why not give us a break? Again, in terms of rugby league in New Zealand, I think that's one of the main points that Cameron George was trying to hit on. To be fair with you guys, as he was saying, rugby league does need a bit of a boost in New Zealand. And to be fair with you, it would be boosted greatly, I think, anyway, with the Warriors staying and playing in New Zealand. Now, in order for that to happen, I think obviously there would have to be a few moving pieces. COVID and all that stuff as well still plays a part. Don't you worry. Which is why I'm sort of, yeah. Look, I know the Warriors can go home next season, but again, how's that going to look? I really want to see what it looks like. Is it going to be a fluid stay, home game thing? I don't know. We have to wait and see. But like I said, with what the Warriors have done, I think, yeah, why not? It gives the Warriors a chance to play not only in Auckland, go to Whangarei, go to Dunedin, go to Wellington, go to Hamilton, go to Christchurch, Invercargill, go to Napier, for example, right? Go to Taupo. There's just many different rural places that New Zealand can go to. And not only that, I hope the NRL teams as well at least schedule in 1 to 2 home games where they do play in New Zealand. Give back, I think, too, that could probably mitigate some issues there. Why not? At least, have the 17, have the 16 other teams, right? Not including the Warriors, next season when the Dolphins come in. Have them play 1 or 2 games, home games in New Zealand. On top of the Warriors, if we were to somehow stay in New Zealand. But for me personally, I think it's good. I think it's a good idea. It does make sense, especially when you talk about the sacrifices made. For one season, we just play all our home games. I don't even care about your thoughts on home advantage or disadvantage or too much pressure or we might not make the 8. I just throw all that stuff away. I just want to see the boys play at home for 1 year straight. I think that evens up anything and everything. But in saying that is just purely my point of view. And again, Cameron George did come from a point of, he wants it, but obviously the NRL too have been helping the Warriors too in their own little way in different things. But in terms of rugby league in New Zealand, I think it's fundamentally important that there is more of it. And if the Warriors can go there, then why not? You know what I mean? Why not? But yeah, that's my thoughts there. Again, what are your thoughts? Tell me. A lot of news has happened, right? And in saying that, I would love it if actually the Warriors stayed and played in New Zealand. That'd be cool. It would give me a chance to, pick whatever venue it is they go to, say Christchurch, or if they want to play in Hamilton, I'll be able to sort of fly to those games there from here in Australia. But tell me your thoughts on it. I think it's quite interesting. Anyway, take it easy. See you guys next time, and just remember, hold the